These are just some of the things that make me happy. But what makes a person happy is different for everybody.
Well, what makes me happy?
What makes me happy?
What makes me happy?
What makes me happy? What makes me happy
Is my family.
is spending time at my childhood home.
Mainly my friends, family,
Laughing, chocolate, dogs.
My friends, my loved ones.
food.
Being with my friends and family. Not being stressed as in being peaceful. Being by myself and just being lazy in general.
Sun? Yeah.
Just because the things that make a person happy are different doesn't mean the actual feeling of happiness is different. Ever get that warm feeling in your tummy when you feel good? That's happiness. Or that smile that you just can't help letting show? That's happiness. Or when you just love life so much. Yeah, we get it. It's happiness. Get to the point. Right. As I was saying, it's happiness. But what really is happiness? Quite a philosophical question, I know. But there are technically no wrong answers. First, let's look at happiness scientifically.
Class is now in session. Broken down, happiness is essentially hormones. The basic hormones can be remembered by the following acronym. DOSE. Dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. Some of these may seem familiar to you, but I'm going to tell you exactly what they do step by step. First up, dopamine, also known as the chemical of reward. Your body releases dopamine when you accomplish something. That rush you feel after getting a perfect score on that super hard science exam, when you run instead of walk the mile, or simply when you don't spend 20 hours watching TV and procrastinating and actually doing your homework.
An alpha pack.
Oh my god.
Fun fact, your body also naturally releases dopamine when you're kind to others. Even simple thoughts of love and kindness can keep your dopamine levels high. See, we like dopamine. Dopamine keeps us loving, striving human beings, which in turn makes us happy. 10 points to dopamine. Our next victim of explanation is oxytocin, or more commonly known as the cuddle hormone. True to its name, oxytocin is released when you cuddle. It is also released through closeness, bonding, and it's really what strengthens relationships. So, if you and your boo thing are having some issues, always blame oxytocin because there is nothing else at all that it could possibly be. Moving on. You know oxytocin is working when you feel that warm fuzziness in your heart. Oxytocin is a special hormone though. It also stimulates your body to release dopamine and serotonin, which in turn reduces anxiety. And that brings me to our next happiness helper. Serotonin. Serotonin is my favorite happiness helper after endorphins. Serotonin monitors your mood and makes sure that you don't go completely down the drain if you're feeling sad. Depression can actually be a result of low serotonin levels, which is why a lot of antidepressant medications help regulate and control the release of serotonin in the brain. Have you ever noticed when you're feeling down? Sometimes as soon as you step out into the gorgeous sunshine, you instantly feel better? Well, hello, serotonin. Serotonin is released in the presence of sunlight and when you eat foods high in tryptophan, that is comfort food, like cheese, noodle soup, and fried chicken. Serotonin is also released when you exercise. Now, I don't know about you, but anything that gives me the opportunity to eat cheese and not feel bad about it, I am here for. See why it's one of my favorites? Now let's talk about my favorite happiness helper that is released when you exercise. Endorphins. Endorphins mask pain or discomfort and are associated with the flight or fight instinct. In terms of happiness, endorphins give you the perseverance and the drive to power through something. Hence, their release when working out. You can tell dopamine is being released, especially when you exercise, when you feel dizzy or sometimes even lightheaded. Research shows that 30 minutes of walking or running on a treadmill can lead to a significant decrease in depression in clinically depressed patients. Basically, what I'm trying to say here is if you get on that hashtag fit life, you're gonna be living that hashtag happy life. Before we finish up here, I have a little comforting reminder. Your brain is hardwired for happiness. It doesn't matter how difficult or tough a situation can get, because it can always get better. Much better. Ta-da! We finished! Well done, you made it. Great job for making it this far. Here's a cookie. Now that we've covered the sciencey side of happiness, let's look at the more profound side of happiness. The deeper meaning behind that strange and wonderful feeling, happiness. If we backtrack a little to the beginning of the video, you might remember that I asked a few people what makes them happy, but what you didn't see was the rest of the questions that I asked them.
would describe happiness as one of the best feelings in the world. It actually just makes your soul lift and you become all crazy and then you get the smile on your face. It's great.
Well, to me, happiness, it makes you smile and it makes you feel good and warm inside, and it just brings pleasant thoughts.
Personally, I think that happiness is a very hard thing to describe in that I feel like there isn't one distinct definition. I think it ranges from like self-satisfaction to service and charity, and it's really a different feeling for everyone. So I'd say that you can only describe happiness as you perceive it.
I guess it's kind of like self-satisfaction in a way, but then like also being able to smile like properly, like while meaning it, I guess.
So happiness is when you feel like this really nice feeling. It's kind of like you're all bubbly and warm and fuzzy inside, and it's not just that, like, you're not just feeling okay. It's like woohoo, party, and it's kind of like a roller coaster that just always goes on.
The question a lot of people ask is, how can I be happy? What can I do to be happy? Now, good people, I'm about to become your favorite person in about 20 seconds. Here, I present to you 10 secrets to happiness. Not only am I going to tell you, but I'm also going to show you how to be happy. Number 1, figure out what makes you happy. Therefore meaning try new things. Therefore meaning get out of your comfort zone. Success lies outside of your comfort zone. It be emotional success or educational success. You're going to have to do something extraordinary to be successful in those fields. Here's our first challenge. The aim? To get 50 points. How do I get those points? I try new things. For each new thing that I try, I get 10 points. Let's see how I do. Number 2, appreciate. Scratch that. In our generation, in this digital age, we can get pretty much anything we want instantly. We're growing up in a world where the general atmosphere is non-stop and immediate. This non-stop attitude about the world can be very mentally draining, which is why it's important to slow down and appreciate the little things that we don't often notice because we're moving so fast. When I'm stressed or my mind feels cluttered, I unplug. I'll turn off my phone, I'll ask a friend to answer any urgent messages I may have, and I'll go someplace quiet and private. I just breathe and give my mind and my soul time to recuperate. If it's a sunny day, I'll sit outside and photosynthesize. If it's raining, I'll listen to the rain as it falls. Slowing down and focusing on the minute things we take for granted can improve your mood tenfold. Be grateful for every little thing that you have. Let's get technical now. How exactly do I slow down? Well, I'm glad you asked, because there's more than one way to do it. For research purposes and for our own benefit, I'm going to take a break and slow down. The way in which I have chosen to slow down is in the form of a challenge. I will do a digital cleanse for 48 hours and keep you up to date on how it's going. The terms and conditions are to write down your feelings every 4 hours, to write down all that you're thankful for, to take time to observe and appreciate nature, and to smile. Number 3, stay positive. So this is a no-brainer, and my favorite secret because I've had a lot of practice doing it. Today, my goal is to take 10 negative thoughts or experiences and turn them into something positive. It's worth points, and for any other negative that I manage to turn into a positive, I get bonus points. Are you noticing a theme here? Points. Something to reward ourselves with. Why? Because dopamine. Number 4, shape your environment to suit you. The saying children learn what they live with is applicable for adults and teenagers too. If you're surrounded by negativity, you'll become a negative person, therefore negatively impacting your happiness as a whole. The same goes for positivity. If you surround yourself with positive people and good influences, you will follow suit. And in doing so, improve your happiness by 1,000,000%. If you're surrounded by people who are constantly bringing you down, making you feel awful, making you feel that you have no self-worth, or that you're always in the wrong, you need to get some new people. Now, despite this, Trying to be a positive influence in somebody else's life is a good thing. Even if they are a negative person, you being there and helping them have a brighter outlook on life can really, really benefit them. But not only does it benefit them, it also benefits you. Remember what we said earlier about dopamine being released when you're kind to others? This is a prime example. But if you are living on 123 Negative Avenue, it's time to pack your bags and get some boxes, because it's time to skedaddle. Number 5. Persevere. Halfway there, and this secret is perfectly suited for its position on the list. There's a quote by Winston Churchill that I happened to stumble upon while watching Teen Wolf. The quote says, "If you're going through hell, keep going." Now, some of you may be asking, why on earth would I want to keep going if I was in hell? Like, that doesn't make sense. Just doesn't make sense. And to you, I say, that's not the point. The point Churchill is trying to get across is that you cannot give up even in the worst situations. No matter what predicament you're in, no matter what rocks are blocking your path, you have to keep going. Besides, endorphins will help you push through the pain anyway. It doesn't matter how exhausted you are, how tired you are, or how much pain you're in. Your future self will thank you for persevering. And as my coach always says, pain is temporary, pride is forever. Number 6, be nice to people. I can give you at least 3 good reasons to be nice to people. Number 1, nothing bad comes from being nice to people. Number 2, it improves your mood. One of the many ways you can be nice to somebody is by being generous. Dopamine is released when you do something kind. When you give willingly, you feel good about it. Reason 3, Newton's third law of motion. Yes, I am being serious. This law is in fact applicable to humans and their emotions. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Newton's third law, it states that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Let's give ourselves a real-life example. Bobby is a very nice person. One day, on his way to class, Bobby sees a teacher struggling with a heavy load of books that she has to carry. Bobby goes up to the teacher and says, "Hello, miss, would you like some help with that?" The teacher gladly accepts. Bobby feels good after helping the teacher, and the teacher feels good after somebody came to help them. The next day, the teacher gives Bobby a nice treat for being a good boy and helping her out when she needed it. Let's do another example, shall we? Joey is very mean to everyone he meets. Some of the people he's mean to go about and be mean to others. Those people go back and bully Joey. Now, there's just this vicious cycle of meanness and hatred going on. See? Meanness in both directions. In short, treat others how you want to be treated, and don't be mean to people. Number 7, don't take things personally. Now, this is a tricky one, especially for me. I take anything and everything I do into consideration. You take 30 seconds to reply to my text message? Immediately, I think I murdered your firstborn child, injured your mother, and put your entire extended family out of a job. I am here to tell you, do not do this. Because 1, not everything will affect you. 2, not everything is your fault. So relax, take your hair down, and give people the benefit of the doubt. To sum it all up, don't think too much on another person's behalf, because you never really know what's going on inside a person's head. Number 8, the law of attraction. It's one of my favorites. The law of attraction says that you attract the vibes that you give out. So if you're focusing on all the bad things going on in your life and thinking negative thoughts, more bad things are going to happen to you. If you walk around with a frown on your face with your head down, you're less likely to be approached and more likely to be avoided, even if what you need is company and loneliness is what's making you sad. But if you walk around with a smile on your face and a spring in your step, you're more likely to be helped, approached, and generally be more pleasant to be around. More things are likely to go right if you think good thoughts. Just because I love bonuses so much, I'm going to give you another tip. Smile! First of all, you look better when you smile. Second of all, you take less effort smiling than you do frowning. Thirdly, you never know who could be falling in love with your smile. And finally, smiling triggers a good feeling. Even if you're not feeling so great, or you're in a bad mood, try smiling for at least 10 seconds, and then see what happens. Number 9, treat yourself. If you're anything like me, you often forget to take care of yourself because you're too busy taking care of other people and or things. But it is so important to remember to treat and think about yourself. Don't mistake taking care of yourself for being selfish. My biggest issue. You may think that you don't deserve it, but I know for a fact that you do.
What have I done to deserve it?
Well, for one thing, you woke up and showed up to your life this morning. You probably ate something, ensuring that you'll have energy to do something for a period of time, and then you probably went out and did that thing. I know it may not seem like much, but simply living can be a challenge, especially as a teenager, with all the added stress from school, lack of sleep, heightened emotions, and just general craziness. Take a break, Read a book you love, go watch a movie, go out to eat. Do anything you can to worry about yourself and your own happiness, because little to no people will do it for you. And number 10, last but definitely not least, be your own superhero. Let me start this section with an analogy or an anecdote of some kind. When I swim and something is wrong with my technique, my coach will tell me to do something different. Then he'll ask me how it feels, after which I respond with the appropriate response. After which he'll usually say, "It looks good, but I can only see, I can't feel." You can't wait for someone to save you or your happiness. Yes, you can have people to guide you along the way and help you when you need it, but overall, your happiness is your responsibility, and you can't always be dependent on other people to make you happy. People aren't perfect. That is just a fact of life. Sometimes they won't be able to help you. More often than not, they can, but there is always that small fraction of uncertainty, which is why it's important to learn how to be your own superhero and save yourself by taking your own happiness into your own hands. Learning to save yourself happens in different ways for different people. Some just wake up and have a change of heart. Others need a mentor for guidance. For some, it's triggered by a terrible event that happened to them or that they witnessed. But whatever it takes for you to switch on that light in your brain to make a difference for yourself, whatever triggers it, you need to listen to that trigger that tells you to stop being a damsel in distress and become your own Superman. For the last section of this class, I'm going to explain to you why all of what I just told you is relevant. Why it's important to be happy. Why should we care about our well-being? Well, one reason is to keep our will to live. And not just surviving, but really living. And using the gift of life to its fullest potential. In order for you to do your best in your life, you need to be happy. If you're happy and you don't necessarily enjoy what you're doing, you'll be a gajillion times more tolerant of whatever it is you're doing. Plus, you're more likely to do it with a smile on your face. And remember, smiling triggers a good feeling. Personally, I don't like running. It just hurts, and like any normal human being, I don't like doing things that hurt me. But the one exception I have when running is when I'm with friends or a team and we're doing it together.
Hey, look! Bonding! Oxytocin!
And when we finish whatever distance we've decided to run, I feel 10 times better than I did before. And 10 times happier.
OMG. Bonding? Oxytocin. Exercise? Endorphins? Accomplish something? Dopamine? Running outside?
I believe that happiness is fuel for your soul, the same way food is fuel for your body. Your body needs food to move and function. The same way your soul needs happiness to spark your will to live, to enjoy whatever it is you're doing, and put your whole heart into it. I've noticed that when you're happy, you have a certain spring in your step that can only come from being happy, and an ever-present smile that becomes your trademark. And with that, I conclude my lesson on how to be happy. And as any good teacher would say, let's review. We had our 4 happiness hormones: dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. We had our 10 secrets to happiness, including my favorites: stay positive, the law of attraction, and shaping your environment. And we had why it's important to be happy. I hope that I've at least helped some of you decide to be happy and take your happiness into your own hands and make it your responsibility. It's been a joy teaching you all. Class dismissed.